Hello,
When
family
your
and
content
friends.
has to get to
Not yet.
your audience.
Hello, world. Hello, family and friends. Hello, Facebook audience. I'm here with one of our favorite guests, Harold K. Weber. And you know what? I'm going to let you tell us a little about yourself because there's so many things about you now.
Well, as you can see, I'm a Los Angeles Rams fan. Let's not get that twisted. Let's get that understanding right off the bat. I heard they play today. I'm not. Are you a Raider fan?
I am.
You're bitter. You're bitter.
I am.
So, yeah, you're bitter. And you have reason to be because you guys haven't won anything since Fran Tarkington or somebody way back in the day. So, but anyway, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I am just happy to be here with my good friend Cornelius Bryant, the CEO of Renaissance Man, which is a motivational youth development. He also teaches etiquette, which is a lost art in most communities. And I'm just glad that he got me to come in and invited me to come in and for all of the money that he's paying me to do this. I appreciate it, Cornelius. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome. And, when I asked my accountant, can we afford you? And they looked and said, barely.
Barely, okay.
Barely, but, we're able to do it. So I do appreciate you giving me that special discount.
You got it. You got it. All I need is give me a little coffee. I won't rep. I will turn around the logo because we're not repping anybody unless we're getting sponsorship. So
right.
That's what the big boys do.
That's the come. That's the way. We are getting to that level.
Absolutely.
Big boy level.
Absolutely.
All right. Welcome, Joe. Say hi to the audience, Joe. That's Joe. He's our tech guy. He's our engineer. Okay, so
whoa! You cannot introduce Joe without introducing Debbie.
No. Because
no, you better not introduce her.
Because
all right, she's in the witness protection program.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is the witness protection.
Well, you better let me know up front.
The problem I did once.
Is there a reward out? Because I will turn her in.
I know you will. That's why we're not going to say nothing. We're not going to tell about that reward.
I'm trying to get
if
paid.
anything, I'll help her out I'll turn her in and say, the reason I turned
her in
is so I can help you pay your attorney fees.
And that's not even her real name. Her
No.
real name is Geraldine. I'm sorry.
Geraldine?
Geraldine. So
Yeah.
anyway.
I know earlier we were talking about the makeup and where Penelope. I don't know where that makeup artist is. I think we got to fire her because she's not here 2 second show in a row.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
We should have makeup and wardrobe.
I know.
When we come on like
wearing
this.
stuff like that way, guys won't come here with Ram clothes on.
Yeah, well,
Ram gear. You know what?
Yeah. Well.
I have a picture. If I can get my assistant to show this picture.
Geraldine?
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna take a minute. But just
Oh, you are hilarious. You are hilarious. That's a blast from the past.
I don't know if everybody can see this or not. Let me try to. Oh, it went off.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
No, because it's important. It pertains a little bit to what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
And while we're sitting here waiting, tell us a little bit about your profession so people can more or less understand exactly what it is you do.
Well, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and we help people to, let me say this, function emotionally and mentally in a healthy way, in a very healthy way. We try to relieve dysfunction and our impairment because of traumas that people are experiencing in their lives. Or sometimes, life, you get stuck in a place, or you might find yourself depressed or not feeling like yourself. In the world we live in, there's so many free radicals around, and we just help people to have better outcomes in their lives, or families that are dysfunctional. And, you just get into places where relationships break down, and people sometimes just want to know how they can move forward in a healthy way. And that's what we do, because there's a lot of trauma. We've all experienced some type of trauma in our lives. And there's a word, it's not a clinical term, but there's this word they call baggage. And if you don't deal with the traumas in your life, or the disappointments, the hiccups, you can carry that from place to place to place, from relationship to relationship, and you can wind up thinking that it's everybody except you. Right. Because you color everything with the experiences that you've had. And so unless you deal with unburdening the baggage, you can take that, it'll color relationships, and it'll contaminate and sabotage what could be a great relationship, marriage, friendship, working relationship. If you don't deal with the trauma in your life, there's so many triggers around that you might see somebody that, a bully in school that that looked like me, and all of a sudden you feel a certain kind of way about me because you remember how that bully treated you in school, and we can't have a relationship because you can't get past it. And so that's what therapists do. We help you to get past your emotional or mental inflexibility.
Okay, so you can be obese in trauma then.
Well, you can lack a certain amount of confidence
from all the baggage.
You can feel that you're not worthy to be loved. And then there's another extreme. Some people are just egomaniacs, narcissists, and they just can't get out of their own way. And you've got to take an introspective look at, why do I do the things that I do? And sometimes it's nurtured in, or as a result of your environment. Your dad did this, and either you're trying to counteract what he did, or you're going to be what he was, and you don't realize it. And sometimes you've got to go look and say, well, why am I affected? Why does this really just tick me off every time I hear this? And sometimes you got to take a look at what happens in your life and return to the scene of the crime, and then, unpack it all.
But we need help because, of course, most times we don't look at ourselves as being at fault. It's somebody else's fault.
Absolutely.
Because if we say, well, if it's my fault, I mean, now we have to take responsibility for it.
It's kind of a Bible verse that says, he who hath no sin cast the first stone, which means that we're all fallible to the extent to where we can have problems that we're not aware that we're the problem. And we sometimes have to investigate our own lives.
Yes. Is that photo ready? Is it going to stay this time?
Put your hand behind here, hold it.
Put my hand behind it and hold it.
Don't touch the keyboard.
That's
Don't touch the
too
keyboard.
complicated. Oh, man.
Man, we're looking mighty good on that.
Yeah. And can you see that? You
Yeah,
remember that photo?
that was during COVID. Look at my COVID hair.
Right.
I got COVID hair right there.
Right. You see? For those of you who can't see, I don't know.
Well, those of you that can zoom in, that was a picture that Cornelius and I took in my office during COVID. We were both all masked up. And were you vaccinated? Did you take the vaccine?
I did take
I know
the
that's
vaccination.
personal information, and we're not trying to
No. I'm going to disclose it. We're going to HIPAA.
Okay, you're going to
put
be
that to the side.
You're going to put HIPAA aside. Yeah, and we were in the office, and we both had masks on, and I was cutting my own hair then, but you didn't have to really do anything to your hair. Huh?
You see, that's
It's
part
natural.
of it. Because see, he had the COVID fro going,
Exactly.
and so as you just heard him rub it in, I didn't get
No,
a COVID
I didn't.
fro.
I didn't rub it. I haven't rubbed it at all.
You know,
I would like to rub it, but
I didn't get a COVID fro.
Okay.
But in this one, we were social distancing, and so at this particular time, that's when everything was shut down.
Right.
So it was only me and you in church.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so what I would do is, because Pastor, he started getting lonely, during church. We didn't want
getting lonely.
Yeah, so we didn't want to
And I
have to
called
go
you?
therapy. No,
I got lonely
no.
and called you?
No, I'm just saying because there was nobody in church.
There was nobody
because
there.
you're used to the church being packed.
You see,
and
you
now,
called me pastor. They didn't know I was a pastor of a church. They just thought I was a marriage and family therapist.
That's part of it. That
Yeah.
that's what your life is. That's why I say I'm glad you took the time, because for those of you who don't know, he's also pastor of Liveway Christian Fellowship Church, senior pastor. And so at this particular time, it was COVID.
That's right.
And
that's
everything
right.
was shut down.
Everything.
And so, he was used to having the church there. So then he's still doing his thing. He's still preaching, he's still bringing the word like it's full, like the church is
And
full.
nobody was there but except
nobody
me
was
and you.
there. Yeah, and the sound people.
Right.
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 And so what I would do is I would run on one side of the church and I'll go, "Hey man," and yell. Then I run on the other side of the church and go, "Hey," so it'll sound like the sound was coming from all different parts
And
of the
I
church.
appreciate that. I really appreciate
and so
that.
you can see the mask. And my thing today is, I'll leave this here for a minute, is that it seems like, like we have all this, but it almost seems like that we haven't fully recovered from COVID. And now you notice people wearing masks again, and just mentally.
Well, they say it's an upsurge.
Right, now.
COVID, it's not as deadly as before because we've built up immunities to it, and a lot of people have had the vaccine. And so, but they are recommending that people that are immune compromised, they should consider taking this new booster that they've just developed. And so they're not suggesting it for everyone. Obviously, everyone can receive it, but especially people that, again, they're just compromised by some, what's the word? Some pre-existing situation that's in their life. They should consider it because it'll help protect them from this upsurge.
Right. So, yeah, but like I was saying, it seems like we didn't recover fully because since the COVID, people are still, a lot of people haven't been outside since COVID started.
Really?
Really. I mean, they're in the house. Now you can do everything from home. Order your food, everything you need. You can order and have it brought to the house.
Yeah.
There's no need to leave if you could afford it.
And there's a saying that's come into the culture. You hear people posting on their social media pages, we outside, because again, you're right. Most of us were in house. But at the same time, it's interesting, human nature, how we can learn something from the pandemic. And a lot of corporations, they're still permitting people to work remotely.
Right.
And so there's some, again, I don't want to say anything good came out of that devastation because we lost a lot of people during that time, but there's been adjustments made, and corporate America has found ways to do things differently. And even the churches are doing things differently. More churches are online. And even in my field as a licensed marriage and family therapist, we are doing what we call telehealth now,
right?
Zooming in to have our sessions. So we learn from COVID, but the one thing that we don't want to forget, I mean, we lived in a point in time that 50 years from now is going to be in the history books. It's going to be in the medical journals that, we had a pandemic, and most of us, a pandemic was new.
Right.
And we lived, thank God, we lived through the pandemic because who knows? You may have had COVID. I may have had COVID. There are a lot of people that had COVID that didn't
even know, really.
Well, they didn't want to know that they had COVID. They didn't want to know because the CDC said if you had COVID, you were supposed to report it. And so you can go on the COVID list, and then you got to call all your friends that you were around. And some people just didn't have the intestinal fortitude to do that. And so they never said they had COVID. And unfortunately, that caused the spread. The same thing with emotional and mental challenges. Some people will just never admit that they have emotional and mental challenges, and so they spread it. And other people are affected by it because they refuse to go get help.
Right. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a commercial. When we come back, we're going to pick it up on that because that's important. That's one of the things that we want to talk about today. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Cornelius Bryant, Harold K. Weber, the E Factor.
KCAA Radio has openings for 1-hour talk shows. If you want to host a radio show, now is the time. Make KCAA your flagship station. Our rates are affordable and our services are second to none. We broadcast to a population of 5 million people. Plus, we stream and podcast on all major online audio and video systems. If you've been thinking about broadcasting a weekly radio program on Real Radio plus the internet, contact our CEO at 281-599-9800. 281-599-9800. You can Skype your show from your home to our Redlands, California studio where our live producers and engineers are ready to work with you personally. A radio program on KCAA is the perfect work from home avocation in these stressful times. Just type kcaaradio.com into your browser to learn more about hosting a show on the best station in the nation or call our CEO for details. 281-599-9800.
And now, the voices of KCAA with an exciting announcement.
Want to hear NBC News or KCAA anywhere you go? Well, now there's an app for that.
KCAA is celebrating 25 years and our silver anniversary with a brand new app.
The new KCAA app is now available on your smart device, cell phone, in your car, or any place.
Just search KCAA on Google Play or in the Apple Store.
One touch and you can listen on your car radio, Bluetooth device, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay.
Catch the KCAA buzz in your earbuds or on the streets, celebrating 25 years of talk, news, and excellence with our new KCAA app.
Just do it and download it. KCAA, celebrating 25 years.
Right. We're going to have to get some, straightened out here.
Yeah, we're back. So what did you say?
Well, I wanted you to let me know that we were still live, a live mic, because I could have said something that could have just,
Well, whoopsie, that just goes to show your character's good.
It is good.
Because if you was out a bad character,
I would have
the
just
world would have known.
No telling what I might have said.
I know.
Well, we're still
But see,
alive.
that's a good thing. If you're going to do something, you're going to lead. If you're not going to live that life, then you don't need to be leading.
Well, that's not only, that's the real matter is you need to let me know that we're still live.
Well, so
because this is an invasion of privacy, because I thought we were on.
I know I can
on
be
commercial
sued,
break.
right?
Well, no,
I'm just saying, but if this was a different situation, a different person. Okay. All right. So for now, I'll have to do a disclosure.
Yes.
You are live.
Right.
People are watching you.
Right. You didn't even have me sign off on anything to say that you can post my likeness.
Well, once we saw this picture, that just went to see that, that's how close we are. That's
okay.
So
okay.
I just never assume that it would be okay.
All right.
Yeah, but you're talking about like what people's hitting things for its mental health goes. And I think that's important because a lot of times, when it comes to reaching out for help, it's hard to reach out for help.
Right.
To tell people, I think something's going on in my life, I need help, or whatever the case is. And especially for men.
Well, especially for men, in addition to make it even more specific, men of color really have challenges with going to get emotional or mental health because there's a stigma in our communities. No one likes the word crazy.
Right.
And in our clinical field, we don't use that word. We use more clinical terms. But I can remember growing up, we had a facility called Malcolm Bliss. And Malcolm Bliss was the hospital, a psychiatric hospital. And we would make fun of each other saying, hey, you know what? Your mama is in Malcolm Bliss. That means that, she had some. And as kids, and sometimes we're so insensitive, but that was harsh. We didn't understand it, but no one wants to be categorized or considered to have mental health issues, but we all can. And this is how I explain it, and people get an understanding. Like if you go to a physical therapist, you go to a physical therapist because typically you've had some trauma on an extremity or you've had surgery on a shoulder, and you go to physical therapy because you've lost the flexibility. You can only raise your shoulder so far, or you've lost its strength. So you go to a physical therapist to expand your range of motion and to re-strengthen that area. The same thing with emotional trauma or mental trauma. You lose your emotional flexibility. That means that when you come to certain issues that trigger you, you can fall all apart, get angry, start crying, feel some kind of way because you're not able to get past this. A lot of relationships, marriages, they get stuck on the same topic because they've got a limited emotional or mental range of motion. And what a therapist will do, they will help you, like a physical therapist, get from here to here to here. And that way, at least, you can receive new information. But if you have a limited range of emotional or mental flexibility, man, you're triggered all over the place. You can't even engage in a healthy conversation because you can break down or have a flashback or be triggered by something. And so I recommend that everybody gets a mental and emotional checkup, just like we would go and receive a physical biological checkup. We need to at times go just to get an emotional or mental checkup because some of us we're stunted in our emotional growth. Remember, we had a meeting the other day. We began to talk about emotional intelligence, being able to express yourself or to receive information from other people and maintain a level of empathy and sensitivity so that you can hear somebody or be heard. So it's important. It's important.
So that's similar to like when you talk about stunted, like if you're in a relationship and then something happens, so then that person goes back to what happened 20 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
And now you're arguing about or going on about what happened 20 years ago, and whatever the current thing is, it's just lost.
Well, in our field, what we call that's an inability to stay present. The inability to, okay, no, we're just talking about this right now.
Right.
But again, someone that has limited emotional or mental range, they've always got to go back to something else as a precedence. And you could be going back 20 years. And I don't want to live in a negative environment that continues to regurgitate the same thing over, and we just can't get past it. And when that happens, you need a coach or a therapist that can act as an intermediary or an arbitrator to help two people or even families. Families can really get stunted emotionally. I've known families, man, that have lost a loved one, a mother or a dad, and the family just implodes because they've had so much stuff pent up, and now the siblings aren't even talking to each other anymore. And sometimes they don't really know why. They just can't get past a situation that happened 15, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, a year ago.
So that's almost like that particular parent, whatever, they were the referee.
Well,
and they were the one
I wouldn't go referee, but more of an intermediary, one that's neutral, and just want the best for everybody. And I learned this in a very personal way because in the state of California, in order to become a licensed therapist, you have to enter into 24 sessions of your own therapy, your own psychological kind of evaluation. So I had to go to a therapist. And I was hedging when I first went there. I'm just trying to satisfy the requirements of the state. But my therapist was very shrewd and wise. And before I knew it, man, I was crying. And Geraldine, why are you laughing? I'm saying something serious.
But you see, and
she's laughing at my trauma. I'm glad I'm over it. Okay. But because she was he was saying some things about my relationship with my dad that I really had it was under, it was suppressed, and we began to talk about it, man, and I got crocodile tears. Yeah. But that was so cathartic for me, man. It released a lot of stuff that shaped me and make me think either I was less than or unworthy or whatever because of the relationship that I had with my father. And then the I almost said crazy. We don't say crazy. But then the ironic thing about it, there were so many characteristics that I carried that were like my father.
Whoa.
I mean, just
so
he would show up in my house. I said, man, that sounds like my dad.
Right. But let's stop for 1 minute because see, you're a licensed therapist and all this. I'm just the me. What does the word cathartic mean?
It just means that you've had a corrective emotional experience. The light came on, like, oh man, that's why I think that way. That's why I believe that way. You have this, it's an enlightening, if you would. You just come to this place, go, oh man, all these years I didn't know that was tied to the situation I had in school or this level of embarrassment that I had, and now you're able to go past it now because that flexibility. Now you're able. You have a wider range of motion. You're able to accept some things. Okay, I can accept that, and now I can grow past that without walking in guilt and shame and trying to cover up everything.
Right, and that's a big part of why people don't seek help because, like people think they're crazy or the stigma that goes with it, the guilt and the shame, and then when they try to reach out and get help. People like Geraldine, and they laugh at them and make fun of them.
See, right?
And so,
if I wasn't healthy emotionally, that could have crushed me and took me back.
Yeah, then you know what?
And then took me back to a day in time.
Wow.
But again, the beautiful thing about visiting a licensed therapist is the state of California, and we're very, very serious about this. It's a safe space where the things that you discuss, with only a couple of exceptions, are totally confidential.
Right.
They cannot even present some of the things that you say in the therapy room in a court of law because your therapist can assert privilege for you where they cannot talk about that. And the only exceptions is if, there's some child abuse involved, mandated reporters, or you're going to go out and hurt somebody. You're going to say, man, when I leave here, I'm going to leave here and choke Geraldine. I've got to let somebody know.
Because
Yeah,
she put that rage in you now because you.
I didn't say no.
help.
I can't say.
No?
See, you can't
No?
say somebody put it in you.
Oh,
you've got to
so-
own it. You
so-
you can't blame it on anybody else. You got to own it. I don't have the ability to get past this, so therefore I need some help. But if you want to blame it on Geraldine, then you don't have to get help because it's her problem.
Right.
But
so
it's your problem.
Therefore, if I put it on somebody else, I'll never get help because
you'll
I
never
never
get
accept the fact that it's me.
You'll never get help. It's the government and a lot of sick people out here, mentally deranged.
Right.
They put stuff on the government, and that same person may go home, get a weapon, and go shoot up a building, go shoot up where they work because they're blaming everything on everybody else. And that's why you see a lot of legislation that goes forward that says, hey, someone that's diagnosed with a mental disorder, they shouldn't be able to buy a weapon or a gun or something of that nature. But we want to be careful that we don't put our things on other people. Even though someone may have caused you an injury, at some point, you've got to own your recovery. Not saying that you didn't have an accident, somebody didn't run into you, but you just can't sit there and go, oh man, at some point you got to say, okay, I want to get healthy. I'm going to walk again. I'm going to do this. And you just can't stay in that place. You've got to live in the present and be willing to move forward.
Right. And so that's why you got to be really careful who you talk to. Because if you talk to the wrong person, they can give you bad advice.
Well, sure.
Or especially if it's something that's confidential, you don't want to talk because now you tell Johnny and Johnny tells the world.
Trust me, they're going to tell.
And that makes your situation worse.
Or if you have disagreement with that person, they'll turn around and use that on you.
Right.
You know, and so yeah, you want to be careful, but if you've got some real issues where you have impairment and can't seem to get past certain hurts, pain, even grief, I would definitely recommend that you seek out a therapist. And a lot of organizations offer therapy at a low cost, what they call a sliding scale. And there's some nonprofits where therapists will see you for free. And so again, and most, if you work for a corporation, they have set aside certain funds, or in your insurance itself, you can have so many sessions for free. And it's usually about 6 to 8. And I take advantage of it if I were someone.
Well, I agree. I would take advantage too. But
Are you feel you're emotionally healthy?
Well, I don't know.
I'm not messing with you.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
You know, but there's those days, like they say, there are some days that I don't think no matter who you are, but in my case, I mean, have you ever just woke up like, oh man, I don't even feel like getting out of bed. I'm not depressed, and I just, for some reason, it's just like almost like a day funk.
But you could be. You could have a low level. I think everybody deals with low levels of mood from time to time, but it's when it gets chronic and when it keeps you from enjoying the things that you normally enjoy, or you constantly have a hypersomnia where all you do is sleep, or insomnia. You can't sleep. This thing is on you and on you. I mean, it's a time to consider getting help. As you say, everybody can have a day of the blues or the blahs, but when it's consistent over a particular period of time and you lose interest in the things that you normally enjoy, or you lose interest in life. I mean, most people, before they commit suicide, are in a depressed state.
Right.
And they feel like there is no reason to live. And there's always a reason to live. And they become self-absorbed. And before you know it, you know, unfortunately, people hurt themselves because of that.
Right. Because I know it's like sometimes, you know, I'll see some, and it takes me back to a certain situation that happens. And then for that brief moment, I'm like, man.
And that's what they call a trigger.
A trigger. So I'm being triggered. Yeah, and then it's like, oh man. Then you have to go, oh, well, you know, let me shake myself out, or what they say, pull myself up by my bootstraps or something.
Absolutely.
So it's just that when you get out of balance, more or less, that's when the issues start.
It can be chronic, and then what else happens? People tend to self-medicate, or they do things that they feel some relief. Some people, alcohol. Some people, some other drug, or some people you know, they shop or they spend money that they shouldn't spend because they just want to feel better. And some people, this is one you have to be careful of, some people indulge in unhealthy relationships with food. And because see, I can go on the record, I'm a foodie, man. A foodie. Anything that crunches, oatmeal cookies, chocolate chip cookies. I mean, that's, you know, man, cookies and milk, I'm still a big kid. I still will, if I'm not feeling great, I may eat a bowl of Captain Crunch.
Uh-oh.
I might eat a bowl of Captain Crunch.
On that note, we're going to take a break and come back. Remember the Captain Crunch. We
Yes,
left
sir.
off at Captain Crunch.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back.
KCAA Radio has openings for 1-hour talk shows. If you want to host a radio show, now is the time. Make KCAA your flagship station. Our rates are affordable and our services are second to none. We broadcast to a population of 5 million people. Plus, we stream and podcast on all major online audio and video systems. If you've been thinking about broadcasting a weekly radio program on real radio plus the internet, contact our CEO at 281-599-9800. 281-599-9800. You can Skype your show from your home to our Redlands, California studio where our live producers and engineers are ready to work with you personally. A radio program on KCAA is the perfect work from home avocation in these stressful times. Just type kcaaradio.com into your browser to learn more about hosting a show on the best station in the nation or call our CEO for details. 281-599-9800.
And now, the voices of KCAA with an exciting announcement.
Want to hear NBC News or KCAA anywhere you go? Well, now there's an app for that.
KCAA is celebrating 25 years and our silver anniversary with a brand new app.
The new KCAA app is now available on your smart device, cell phone, in your car, or any place.
Just search KCAA on Google Play or in the Apple Store.
One touch and you can listen on your car radio, Bluetooth device, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay.
Catch the KCAA buzz in your earbuds or on the streets, celebrating 25 years of talk, news, and excellence with our new KCAA app.
Just do it and download it. KCAA, celebrating 25 years.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We're back on break. But we left off on Captain Crunch. So, Captain Crunch, what is Captain Crunch for those who don't know?
For you, if you don't know what Captain Crunch is, you need to get a life. Because Captain Crunch is a major cereal that's nice and crunchy. And if you're very astute in the Captain Crunch series, there's also Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. Hold your mule, baby. Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries, man, you have not eaten until you've had Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. I'm just saying.
Okay, well,
I'm just saying.
You know, everybody has their opinion.
Cornflake? What kind of cereal did you eat growing up?
No, I'm not. I'm a honey nut. Well, we can't say it because they're not paying us, but I'm a honey nut Cheerio person. You know,
You just said you can't say it.
But see, but that's what I'm saying.
It's something.
But
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah.
I don't know. That don't even sound manly.
Well, you know what? It's healthy. It's healthy.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios is healthy.
Yeah, it's healthy.
It's probably healthier than Captain Crunch because Captain Crunch is mostly
sugary and, you know,
it is mostly
kiddish. But, you know, it's interesting that you said it about being a foodie because in a lot of times, like you say, some people drink, some people smoke, some people do all these things.
Right.
So it's still the same thing, but just with a different use.
Yeah, I'm a foodie. I can say that because this jersey, when I first bought it, the number was 19. And now it's 99, which means I've been growing since I bought this jersey. So the number has gone up. So.
Right.
Yeah.
But would you attribute that to like some form of depression or
no?
cover-up?
It could be both.
It
could be both. It could be a form of self-soothing,
right?
Or it could be I just like food too much, and I don't use food as food should be medicine. We shouldn't live to eat. Medicine. They say we should eat to live, and I would recommend that everybody take a serious look at what they're putting in their bodies. I'm going to start a new program tomorrow. Tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow. I still after I finish this box.
Is
of
that
Captain
like
Crunch.
that song Tomorrow?
No,
Tomorrow,
after I finish, I still got
tomorrow.
Captain Crunch some, probably a couple of bowls. So I'm going to finish that, and then I'm not going to buy any more for a while.
Okay, well, we have no way to know whether that's going to happen, but we hope so.
I said it. I said it's going to
Okay,
happen.
if you said it, that's what it is.
Yeah, I said it's going to
All right,
happen.
okay. But see, a lot of people, they think because I'm using food or something, it's not like if I'm using drugs or alcohol.
And see, I think we've got to look at food
Right.
sometimes like a drug.
Right.
Because you can have some of the same euphoric feelings or either drop in your sugar level that can put you in the doldrums or that can jack your energy up. So we've got to look at food for nutrition and not just for pleasure. It's okay to have a dessert from time to time.
Right.
But, you've got to really manage and be a good steward over these bodies because, we can abuse them. We can abuse them.
So health-wise, mental-wise, because mental is health too.
Absolutely.
And all these things. Because I know, like what we made a statement earlier about the men, because I noticed black men, white men, that there's more and more young, they don't call them homeless men, unhoused. There's more and more.
Housing insecure.
Housing insecure.
We don't need you to come up to the modern vernacular with the culture. We want to make everybody feel good. So it's housing insecure. We don't want anybody to feel demeaned because they're in a situation, an unfortunate situation. So they're housing insecure. Right.
So if you're housing insecure with this upgraded vernacular,
okay,
would that cause sometimes people to overlook them for the help they need? Because now they've got this new thing that we're saying, but it's a reason why they're out there. They need some type of help. So we feel like they're just housing insecure.
Sure.
We overlook, like you said, that a lot of people need some kind of mental help and they don't seek out to get it.
Right, right. And again, I think for the most part, most of our communities throughout the United States are very compassionate. I don't think that, anyone necessarily has no regard for those people that are challenged or struggling. It's just that now we find we just have the numbers are vast.
Yes.
And it cuts across ethnicity, it cuts across gender, and it cuts across age. There are families that are housing insecure. I remember when I was principal for a day in San Bernardino County, there were families that didn't have a place to stay. As a matter of fact, the oldest daughter in this one situation, they lived together in a vehicle. And again, and the school system, they wanted to do as much as they can to help. But sometimes you can't move people against their will. And so we just have so many vast numbers. And it's a problem that we should continue to work on and to work on and to work on. And then we need to watch our attitudes about how we experience those people. Sometimes, we look down on them when we instead should maybe utter a little prayer for them, because there are people of all different levels of education that can find themselves in situations that are difficult. So.
Right, and that's the thing about it, the way we look at them, because I work with a lot of these people, and what I've learned, like you say, no matter what they are, the majority of them, they say the same thing, the way that people treat me and look at me, and that's part of the problem. So like you said, we can't blame things on other people. We have to accept our responsibility. But if there's a situation where someone has the ability to get help, but part of it is the shame from not wanting to reach out for help because of the attitude and the treatment they receive from people.
Yeah, and again, in those situations where there are mental health and emotional issues, some people, they've learned not to trust people, and they've got into a situation where they feel sometimes more comfortable in the streets, if you would, than they would by connecting to some government program. And again, it's a huge problem. Here in Southern California, it's a huge problem. And again, I help where I can, you help where you can. And we're just prayerful that something turns around for them. And again, it's the time also as people, when there's some legislation or an opportunity to vote for people that need help, we have to consider others other than ourselves.
Correct.
Other than ourselves. So
right, and that's key, because like you say, vote for it. Because a lot of people, well, I don't vote, I don't do this, I don't do that.
Well.
But there are situations that people is really important, because the issues that come up and the reason they're doing it, to allocate these funds for certain things.
Sure.
It's important. It's having compassion on other people. You know, a lot of people, oh, well, all they got to do is do this, go get a job, do this, go do that. But like I say, if you don't know the person's mental capacity and what they've been through,
right,
it's hard for them to just get up and do that.
And sometimes it's hard, and it's a harsh judgment to make a judgment like that if you've not had that experience.
Correct.
And I think it's an old Native American proverb that says, you know, don't judge a person unless you walked a mile in their shoes.
Right.
You know, you say, and a lot of people say, well, if I was that, I would have done this, and if I would have done that. Again, I would hope that you would.
Right.
But sometimes life can be so traumatic, and life can feel so unwelcoming, and you can be so scarred by life that sometimes you're paralyzed, and sometimes it's self-sabotage. That doesn't take away the agency from people, that people ought to, again, do their best to help themselves. But some people, mentally and emotionally, they are paralyzed. And we have to do what we can to help people as much as we can.
Right. I mean, because a lot of times, like say, if you've never been there, you don't know the struggle.
No,
and you just assume this and that, like you were saying about the lady living in the car. You know, there was this family, you know, for whatever reason, they couldn't afford to stay in their place.
Right.
And so, of course, you know, you can only go stay with family for so long, and you get so many vouchers, to eventually that runs out.
Right.
And, you know, families, they're not going to let too many families stay with them a long period of time with the kids.
Right.
And so once they get into this state of depression, you know, now you have the whole family there, and then you just feel lost, like, you know, your world is over.
Right.
And it's hard to snap back, because not only as a parent, you got to snap back for yourself, but you got to snap your kids back.
Sure.
And next thing you know, you're sending one kid here, one kid there, to try to get them in a place where they can be better helped.
Right.
And so that divides families, and that's part of, like, a lot of time I encounter these guys, and their thing is, you know, I was supposed to be a man, and I couldn't take care of my family, I couldn't do this, and so therefore it's a whole new type of depression that goes on.
Mm-hmm. And then again, I mean, some people make bad choices, and they continue to make bad choices, and you know, that's unfortunately the consequence sometimes is that's passed on if you have children to them, because you're not just making a choice for yourself, you're making a choice for those people that also depend on you. And no one should really just opt out on life, just forget everything and walk away. And so it's not an easy problem to solve.
Right.
And we live in a different kind of a space culturally. I mean, I grew up at a time where, you know, you if it wasn't working out in your family, say you were just that knucklehead kid, they could send you to your Uncle Earl, or send you down south to your grandmama, and they'd put you on the farm and try to, you know, rehabilitate you, get you out of that environment.
Right.
Or back in the day, you know, men or women would choose to go into the military, because in the military would instill a level of discipline and things of that nature. And so,
structure.
And right now, you know, family structures are much different.
Right.
Now. Most of, in our community, again, and I applaud single mothers, a lot of our children don't have the benefit of being raised by parents together in the home. And that's not to say that people can't successfully co-parent, but they must co-parent.
Right. And family structure, you know, that's important. But on the other side of this commercial, we're going to end with some thoughts about family structure. Cornelius, the E Factor, special guest, Harold K. Weber. We'll be back soon.
KCAA Radio Radio has openings for 1-hour talk shows. If you want to host a radio show, now is the time. Make KCAA your flagship station. Our rates are affordable and our services are second to none. We broadcast to a population of 5 million people. Plus, we stream and podcast on all major online audio and video systems. If you've been thinking about broadcasting a weekly radio program on Real Radio plus the internet, contact our CEO at 281-599-9800. 281-599-9800. You can Skype your show from your home to our Redlands, California studio where our live producers and engineers are ready to work with you personally. A radio program on KCAA is the perfect work from home avocation in these stressful times. Just type kcaaradio.com into your browser to learn more about hosting a show on the best station in the nation, or call our CEO for details, 281-599-9800.
And now, the voices of KCAA with an exciting announcement.
Want to hear NBC News or KCAA anywhere you go? Well, now there's an app for that.
KCAA is celebrating 25 years and our silver anniversary with a brand new app.
The new KCAA app is now available on your smart device, cell phone, in your car, or any place.
Just search KCAA on Google Play or in the Apple Store.
One touch and you can listen on your car radio, Bluetooth device, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay.
Catch the KCAA buzz in your earbuds or on the streets, celebrating 25 years of talk, news, and excellence with our new KCAA app.
Just do it and download it. KCAA, celebrating 25 years.
All right, we're back to wrap it up. Okay, and when we left over, you were talking about the stable home and all that stuff. And so how important is that?
It's important. And now let me say this. I am in no way inferring that a single parent household led by a male or a female cannot be stable. I'm not saying that. But again, the more help you can get, the better off you are.
Right.
Because you can have a two-parent home where it could be chaos in that home.
Yes.
And so again, I'm in no way denigrating or saying anything negative about a single parent home. I'm just saying if you get help, the more help that you can get, the better off you can be, and any children in that situation. Because again, let me say it again. There are two-parent homes that there could be so much chaos there that somebody would be better off by themselves.
Right, because I know a lot of times the kids say, oh, I don't even want to go home. You know, and so that's right. Just because you have two parents, it doesn't make, it's not a guarantee that it's going to be good.
Absolutely.
You know?
They have to be two healthy parents.
Right.
Two parents that are on the same page and they're making sacrifices for the family.
Right.
It has to be, that's really, really important. Really important.
Right. And you know, that's what we say, but two parents, single parent, the end of the thing is for the kids, what's healthy for them.
Right.
And to try to instill so much positive in them.
Right. Because I've heard two-parent homes, one parent complaining that they feel like they're a single parent because he or she, I mean, they won't do this, they won't do that. I don't know. They never bring home their check. They're always out in the streets, yada, 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 yada. So again, it must be two healthy people.
Right.
And again, or two healthy people co-parenting if they don't happen to live in the same home. Kids need to see love and to feel like, you know, they're supported. So we just do the best we can.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I felt very supported as a kid.
Yeah, you had a silver spoon in your mouth.
I am.
Yeah, okay.
Only
just
thing,
admit it. You had no reason to fail.
No.
Okay.
And I shan't fail.
Did you ever miss a meal?
No.
See,
only thing I'm missing is my hair. But all
that
that
had nothing
other
to do with your
stuff
parents.
is
Is your
good.
dad bald?
No, my dad has a head full of hair.
Is your mom bald?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking.
No, I mean, you know,
there's got to be some.
I can't get everything.
They said baldness is hereditary.
That could be. It could be somebody somewhere in the family line.
That's what they tell me. I don't know.
Well, no, you don't know.
So is there a bald,
but it's okay.
Is there a bald guy in your neighborhood that used to come over a lot?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking. Just asking a question.
None of that. Wasn't none of that going on in the neighborhood.
Okay.
But you know, But no, that's right. I am a silver spoon, continue to be a silver
Exactly.
spoon. And even with my business, the Renaissance Man School of Life Skills, Leadership, and Etiquette, I teach people who didn't have a silver spoon how to have a better spoon, and those who had one how to shine it up.
Man, I like that.
You like that, huh?
I like that.
Yeah, look at
now
that.
you got to put that on you need to put that on something.
Yeah.
And you need
Geraldine, write that
you need
down
to
for
patent
me.
it. You need to get that trademarked, man.
Right.
That could
You
be
know what?
something right there.
So if you use it a week from now, say, wait a minute, you owe
But
me.
if you don't hurry
But I'll
up.
make up for the water.
Well,
I'll say,
but
okay.
you got us on record that you said it first.
Okay, all right. All right.
But I
So-
could say fork. I could say silver fork. And I might be
Yeah,
able to get by
yeah.
that.
But I'll say you was in my kitchen, so it's the same thing, right?
This is true. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking.
But I'm just encouraging you to run with that.
Okay, I will. I'm going to run with it. Matter of fact, today when I leave here, I'm going to.
Can I make
Do
a
it.
shameless plug? Can I make a shameless
If you
plug?
want, because
we
we're
got
almost out of time.
Look, if you're ever looking for a church, if you're ever looking for a place where you want to come and receive some spiritual nourishment or enlightenment or connect with a family, again, we've got a beautiful church in the Moreno Valley area, Living Way Christian Fellowship, 12125 Day Street, right across the parking lot from Golden Corral. We would be glad to, again, receive you, treat you like a king or a queen. So you're all invited every Sunday, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. On every Sunday morning.
So what you're saying is after you give them the spiritual food, they can go across the Golden Corral and get the other food.
You
It's
know
right
what?
close
We
by.
need to get some free food from Golden Corral.
We are going to get some
But
free
I was
food
just
from Golden
using it as a
Corral.
landmark.
Yes, but
now you're saying
no.
that
But I'm just saying it's
we got to get some food from
yeah,
Golden Corral for
you
sure.
know.
for sure.
Hey, you want to give them your information? Because you can see my number right there if you want to reach me, 951-238-4720.
No, you just got to
give
Google
them
me.
your
They're
information,
going to have to
Pastor?
just Google me.
Google?
Just Google me and Living Way Christian
All right.
Fellowship.
No.
And come show up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not taking on right now any new therapeutic clients.
Okay, so that
because my
means
book
if
is
you're not
full.
taking on any new therapeutic clients, that you can be on the waiting list. That obviously he's good if he's not taking on
I'm
new
not taking on
clients.
any more clients right now.
So I was gonna come, but now you're not taking on new clients. I've just changed my mind.
But critical cases like yourself, I would definitely make room for you.
All right.
You and Joe and Geraldine. I'll give
All
you guys
right.
a package deal because you guys got some issues, especially Geraldine.
Well, see,
especially Geraldine.
So I can blame mine on her since it rubbed off on me.
No blaming.
So no blaming.
You got to own your own choices.
Okay, wait. Let me calm myself down. Calm myself down.
Meditate, mindfulness, breathe.
It's me.
Breathe.
It's me.
Yes.
All right, I feel better now.
Good, thank you.
All right, thanks again for joining the E Factor Show. I'm your host, Cornelius Bryant, special guest, Harold K. Weber. We'll see you next time.
All right.
KCAA and KCAA Internet Television, the station that leaves no listener and no viewer behind.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Spear, a licensed agent with Litchfield Insurance Associates here in Beaumont. A large portion of Americans don't have life insurance or don't